Hello ladies and gents, Romie Reviews here. Please like, comment, subscribe. This is my review for How to Get Away with Murder, Season 5, Episode 11, Be the Martyr. Now this episode, I'm going to have to do this. There's a little bit of a time gap, so it starts off more so towards the present, but we're going to go back 24 hours. And Nate is talking to Annalise and Bonnie. Bonnie's playing Nate the audio that she has of Miller calling in to make sure that the transfer for his father is going through smoothly. Nate fully believes that he's on the right and that this doesn't prove that Miller was one of the good guys, which is true. It just doesn't look good for anyone else. So everyone's looking at him like, all right, Nate, we're still going to work with you, but dude, just be prepared just in case if it's not what it seems. Annalise calls Asher because she wants to make sure that there's someone there to show Bonnie some support since Annalise wasn't able to get Bonnie to stay at her house, which is good because Annalise has to go to work. So she talks to the rest of the group because they know Asher can't hold water. They know, and they still have to cover it up. This whole episode, Tegan's been trying to talk to Annalise, and Annalise has been preoccupied with everything else under the sun. And Tegan wants to talk about the suit that Michaela brought up regarding Nate's father, which no one approved of yet. So now Tegan is suspicious. Michaela is trying to call Laurel. Laurel goes and ambushes Bonnie and it's like, hey, did my baby see anything? I'm thinking, Laurel, first off, I almost said who cares? That we love that baby. We don't like Laurel. That's what it is. Look, the baby will be okay. The baby will be okay. Do we want any of our children to see bad stuff? Absolutely not. Thankfully, it's a baby, so there's more of a chance of the baby being okay. There's more of a chance that baby will be messed up because of Laurel and Wes versus whatever it would see as an infant. That's just the truth in this case. We're not dealing with regular people here. Asher comes just in time because Asher was told to go to work, watch out for Bonnie. So that's what he did. He was like, Laurel, she lost someone she loved. And Laurel's like, I understand. I did too. And I'm not trying to mess up the other one that's still here. I said, Laurel, shut up. No one likes you. Now, I got nervous because we saw Nate go and try and talk to one of the jurors. I'm thinking, Nate, please don't do anything reckless. But all that happens is he talks to the juror and the juror says that there's something you don't know. There's evidence that was provided to us, in our chambers, and it was the gun that had your father's fingerprints. Had your father's DNA, I should say, on it. Now, Nate's trying to figure out, wait a minute, how is that? Why didn't we know about that? So then it made me think, okay, maybe Nate is onto something, even if it wasn't directly Miller. Miller's involved in this. That's what started to churn in my head. So then we get to Annalise. Annalise is talking to her boss. She needs to because today's the big day. His ex is coming into town because they need to go and decide how they're going to handle the lawsuit. His ex looks good. I said, okay, I understand. I don't care if that's wrong. I understand. Annalise's like, hey, Emmett, game face on. So now, apparently, his ex is being represented by a head honcho at their company. It's just a whole lot. And this lawyer wants to go and have the blame be placed on Annalise's boss. Annalise's boss's girl doesn't even want that. She's like, hey, this isn't right. I'm grown. I made a grown-up decision. But why go and take accountability and be responsible when we have a scapegoat who's willing to be a scapegoat? Because here's the situation. If this goes wrong, the company can go under. You could lose your jobs. Her company could get messed up in the process as well. It's just too much. So now Laurel's trying to figure out, okay, is baby Christopher okay? Baby Christopher is so happy. I feel like seeing that murder probably held baby Christopher saw some red stuff. Miller, the way how he was down, baby Christopher didn't know what he was seeing. Didn't know what he was seeing, and definitely didn't hear, no. It didn't come when it was already that. So baby Christopher will be fine. I'm saying this just for show purposes, people, not for real life. Come on. Sometimes I feel like people take this stuff a little bit too seriously. But the whole premise of this is Connor needs to stop. I don't know who told Connor to get the conscious and for Oliver to be the tough one, but I am over it. I am over it. Because now we see Gabriel, the FBI is questioning him because the FBI needs to know, what do you know? They go and play him the audio recording of him calling Miller and leaving that voicemail saying, I screwed up bad. Gabriel gives the story of how Miller was told him to investigate Annalise because there's a lot going on with her. And I said, remember when Miller was trying to separate Bonnie from Annalise? Maybe this is why. Because he was running a separate case on her. And he was trying to extract the woman that he loved out of that situation. Come on now. We have to do some critical thinking when it comes to this. So while we have that going on, because, oh, Lord Jesus. While we have that going on, we then have to deal with the fact that Bonnie is so hurt. And Bonnie is just like, look, Miller did it. Miller did it, and Nate's not the one who finished Miller off. It was me. And that's why she feels so guilty. And that's why she's not letting herself, feel okay about this. Now, Nate goes to his contact, and the contact tells him that this situation is so messed up. I'm going to help you out, but I really don't want to. But out of respect for your family, and that's the only reason why. Period. Period. Exclamation point. So then we see, what did we see? Gabriel comes in and Annalise is pissed. Annalise is like, I don't have time for you right now. Just drop it. Tegan is trying to talk to them and figure out, hey, what's going on with the case? Have you got Nate Jr.'s blessing? Like, what's going on? They're trying to go and give this run around. Here comes Gabriel say, hey, we don't need witnesses to win. We just need a base to get punitive damages. I said, oh, okay, you're right. And none of them are stupid. I mean, they're all a little stupid. But no, it's not that any of them couldn't come up with that. They have a different plan. They have a very different plan. And you're making things very difficult for them. So Oliver, of all people, is like, why don't you go and skirt that way? Because we don't have time for you and all your shenanigans. Thank you. Good night. I said, oh. I said, what is going on here? So now Nate is talking to Annalise. And here's the whole problem. Nate found out information that this new information means that maybe Miller introduced new information, falsified evidence to the jury to sway them in the last hour, which is possible. It could actually be the governor as well. We don't know. This whole thing is really confusing. It's truly confusing. And Nate just feels like, do you believe me or not? Are you on my side or not? And Annalise is trying to tell him, don't fall on the sword for this. Like, dude. We see, and I got nervous, we see Bonnie. Bonnie was so devastated by all of this. She was sitting in her car with the garage door closed, the car running, and she was just revving up the engine. I said, oh no, if Bonnie tries to off herself, no. Nate is living through some good moments that he had with his father, and it's just flashbacks, and it's getting up to the point where he goes and he beats Miller, and we even see the bruises on his hand from his recent attack, and it's just like, no one's about to die. Bonnie, she's thinking about Miller, this guy who clearly loved her unconditionally, this guy who I never fully trusted but actually kind of liked. There was always something off with him, and I said, Frank, where are you? Of course, Frank comes in calmly because Bonnie is still coherent. He opens up the car door, stops the car, takes off her seatbelt, and carries her out. And I said, "Oh, it's so weird seeing Bonnie so frail, like emotionally frail. It's throwing me off." Now Nate does he get a call or does he make a call? He calls and he was trying to call Bonnie. Frank picks up and Frank was just like, "Look, Nate, don't fall on your sword for this. Bonnie, she's alright, but you need to give her some space right now." Now, it's Asher versus Laurel. And I was actually happy for this because a lot of times we don't see Asher really stick to his guns. But he was today. He was for his bonbon. So Laurel's like, "Oh, how are you defending her? How do you know she saw anything? How you..." Again, this has nothing to do with real life. In real life, yes. In real life, we would all be in agreement that, "Oh, that was just messed up, period." But for the show purposes... Shut up, Laurel. And I do this every day, every week, every hour. Shut up. Because you are an awful person. Your son could have grown up to be awful anyway. His daddy was decent and they killed him. Your family killed him. So I don't want to hear anything from you ever. Gets on my nerves. Oliver gives Asher a hug. I said, yeah, he does need a hug. Now, I'm thinking, Michaela, why did you tell her this story? I don't think this is going to help. Michaela tells Laurel the story of how Christopher will be okay. He'll be okay for one simple fact. He's super young, and I'm living proof that bad things can happen when you're young, and you have no idea. No idea at all. Apparently, when Michaela was little, the reason why she grew up in foster care was because at the age of 2, they took her because her mother was shot. Her mother was shot right in front of her. We don't know the backstory. All we do know is that Michaela's saying her mom was shot, and she didn't even know. They had to tell her. She didn't even know. And so she turned out good. I'm thinking, oh, I would have felt worse. I'm like, you're the worst example. You're a good example of how you're resilient, but you're still a mess. But that could be because you didn't have good figures in your life. So I'll give her that. I don't know if that made Laurel feel better, but it wouldn't have made me feel better. And also, I'm thinking, is that story 100% true? Because with this show, people lie so much, you never know what's the truth and what isn't. Emmett goes and meets with his ex-girlfriend, and she's just like, she's going to go and take the fall. He said no, he's not going to allow her to do that. When he was talking to Annalise in the past, he said, well, actually, let me hold up. They were talking. He still loves her. He wants to do this one nice thing for her. He's like, he understands that he's privileged as a rich white man, and maybe this is his cross to bear, because he probably wouldn't have had anything else, any other real struggles, and to do this for her would be all worth it. I said, that's great. Beautiful gowns. Beautiful gowns. Annalise knocks on that door so fast because they're meeting in the car, like, get out of there. Let me talk to you. Get out of there. Like a parent. What are you doing? And he was just like, look, I'm doing this for her. I'm doing this for her because I love her, and we got caught up in a situation. I want to take responsibility. Don't you understand that? And Annalise said, don't do that. Don't go and just fall on your sword to help someone else just because. Don't do that. I said, Annalise, are you talking to him or are you talking to yourself? Now, Nate, he's down at the police station. He's trying to see if he can get that evidence or get proof of that evidence. And the officer's just like, I can't help you anymore. I can't help you anymore. I already am in trouble. Without saying it, he was like, I already did before. Here's the situation. Dude, come on now. Come on now. And the feds were there. They were waiting because they were tipped off because they do a thorough job. They do a very thorough job. So I don't know why Nate even thought for a second that he was just going to be all to the good. So now we get caught up in present day where Nate is talking to Annalise, and he said, I can't talk right now because he's about to be interrogated. Annalise has to deal with Tegan, because this is when Tegan's finally able to get an answer out of Annalise, and this is when she learns that Nate Sr. is trying to pursue a separate case to prove that his father didn't do it. If he can go and get the evidence and get them to go and launch an investigation themselves, we don't have to go down this route that you're talking about. So please drop it. She said, understood. Now, that understood was a look of, oh, I had no idea that that was the situation. And also a look of, oh, I'm pissed. So then she goes stomping in to where Michaela is and rips her a new one. Rips all of them a new one. Because Michaela, the first thing out of her mouth is, oh, I didn't know. I talked to Nate himself, and Nate told me that right now he's just not in the headspace to go and pursue that. Why are you lying to me, Michaela? And after I was trying to throw you a bone, you want to go and screw me over? Because remember, this was supposed to be a big case for the firm, and now it's being canceled. So there are resources allocated to this. It could have made them look really good, and Tegan has every right to rip Michaela around, throw her down. Anyway, Michaela looked devastated. She looked like, oh my god, her girlfriend just broke up with her. That's what it looked like. Anyway, now Annalise and Emmett have a plan, and they're in agreement. Annalise didn't even realize that they were going to be in agreement, so Annalise was pleasantly surprised. I hate how this gets out of focus. Okay. The plan is this. They're going to put it back on the company instead of his ex-girlfriend, himself, and they're going to play it like this. Apparently, he went and filed a suit against the company this morning, and the suit was essentially, oh, my company is like an abuse of power type of thing. And I said, oh, so we're getting spicy today. Okay. When I tell you that lawyer was pissed because he said, you're trying to go and sink the company that you work for. You're trying to do, what's wrong with you? They had this look of, no, we're not trying to sink the company. We're trying to put the onus on you. And I loved it because Emmett's girl even said, you were the one that actually went and gave me the advice to go and move forward anyway. Emmett told me not to. You said it would be good, and I trusted you because you were a senior advisor. I trusted you because of your power and your influence. I said, I tell you, I'm so happy when she said that. And I said, look at Emmett, you have a real one right there. And then Annalise said, oh, this is a pleasant surprise. Because Annalise felt like she was just going to sell you down the river. Period. Now Nate is talking to his contact, and he's to come up with this plan. How is he going to finagle this? Because remember, Nate's looking crazy right now. And yes, I'm using the C word, crazy. Nate is looking crazy right now, and he needs to change the narrative. They even want to go and do a psychiatric test on him because I knew where they were leading this. They were essentially trying to say, is he having a nervous breakdown? Because mental illness runs in his family. And he was like, his father only developed that because of the conditions that he was in. Well, stress can trauma in patients that never experienced it, like possibly yourself. He said, call a psychiatrist. I have time today. Nate leaves, and then he talks to Annalise and Bonnie, and he's actually hugging Bonnie, and he just wants Bonnie to know that this is on me. No matter what you did or you think you did, this is on me. So do not beat yourself over this. This was on me. This was on me. Just remember that. Just say that. Believe it. Now, Gabriel is in his apartment, and he's just destroying evidence. And he gets an aggressive knock on the door. I'm thinking, oh, who's that? Frank comes home and doesn't see Bonnie, and he is scared. he is scared. He calls and Bonnie isn't there. He's running around. Then he goes into the bathroom. He's thinking, oh my God, did she off herself in the shower? Did she do that? No, she's not there. He's like, Bonnie, please just call me when you get this. I just want to know that you're okay. She was in his room. Thankfully, she was in his room. She said she didn't want to sleep alone tonight. And he gets in the bed and he's just holding her. Annalise is talking to what's left of the King 5, and they say, we have a problem. Even though they know everything, or they know as much as they need to know, here's the game plan. You saw Nate when? You saw Miller when? Okay. Stick to that plan. We'll be all to the good. We'll be great. Just follow this. Laurel, you got it? Because everyone else is like, of course Michaela's on board. Everyone else said, okay. Laurel was the one that was like, nah. I'm thinking, oh, Lord. Nate has a game plan. Nate's going to go in there, and he's going to say, hey, obviously I talked to jurors, and like I said, I believe it was Miller, and I believe that it was the governor. And so the FBI calls him in because they have news. Apparently, they did the DNA test. That's why Nate went through all of that, so that they would do a DNA test. And the DNA test proves that Nate Sr.'s DNA wasn't on the gun. I said, oh my... Oh, I went off. I went off when I found that. I was so happy for him. I was so happy for him. And then I got confused because they're like, it wasn't his DNA. So we don't know who it is, but now we can believe that there's something really big going on. There's something else you need to know. We have a witness. And I'm thinking, witness? Who? Because at first how they were playing it, I'm like, is it Bonnie? Because we didn't know Bonnie was okay at this point. It's Gabriel. And Gabriel's calling Annalise because he wants Annalise to represent him. Which means that Gabriel better start telling the full truth. That's the only way this is going to work. The only way. But, oh, that twist and turn at the end was great. Because, like I said, Nate is trying to go and spin it that it was the governor who... Yeah, that Miller was working with the governor, and possibly Miller falsified the results. It was someone. We know it was someone. I'm just hoping it wasn't like a stupid triple cross. I'm really hoping that Bonnie's distraught just because she had to kill Miller, and that's it, and she's not involved in this, because you never know this dang show. It's so irritating and infuriating, but I enjoyed that twist. So please like, comment, subscribe, come back next week. Oh yeah, and remember, show some love to my new channel, Romie Whispers Asthma, Romie Whispers ASMR. New video up yesterday? No, on Wednesday, I believe. I put up a new video. It's a roleplay video, so I got some positive feedback from it already. Thanks.